So how's everybody doing? I really hate to get irritated and frustrated while I'm streaming because I was watching some streams the other day and I was like, ah man, that guy was kind of pissed off. I was like, that doesn't look very good. Like, note to self, don't get frustrated on your stream. Be super happy. And so I try to do that, but does that sound right? Like, I have 8 cores on a 2013 MacBook Pro, and this computer is using 5.5 cores to encode video. Does that sound right? That's crazy, right? Like, whatever Xcode was doing, it stopped. It's actually highlighting syntax correctly and everything, which is amazing. Feels great. I'm really trying to get to the point where I'm rendering graphics as soon as possible, and so any kind of delay that gets in my way really pisses me off. I really want to work on this 12 hours a day until I'm done. See, it's a test run, everybody. Well, just build me old frameworks. It would go a lot faster if OBS didn't suck up all the fucking CPU resources. Thanks, OBS, for sucking up resources. And it's not even encoding video. It's skipping frames. How did it get so bad? I'm watching the stream and it's terrible. Oh my god. Like, did one of my... Did something, like, happen with my computer to, like, disable some device or something? Like, I would totally expect this behavior if, like, my GPU was completely fucked. That could be the problem. But that wouldn't make any sense for it to just suddenly happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I guess... I hate doing this. Because I can't, like... I guess I'm going to have to, like, cut out one of my monitors because this is ridiculous. I hope that helps. Okay guys, what I'm going to try to do... Maybe it was my GPU or something. I'm going to cut out the stream and, yeah, I think it was my GPU. For some reason that, like... doesn't make any sense though. Because I was, like, using the same setup for, like, a week. And I didn't have any problems. I removed... I guess my GPU's being, like, pushed too far or something. I really like having that third monitor though. It is very nice when I'm streaming because I can just, like, dedicate that monitor to OBS. Fantastic. This looks like... So, like, trying to fix some OBS stuff. So if you just joined, or not. Well, oh well, I'm just going to keep everything the same right now and just not use the monitor. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what would cause that. I did upgrade versions. But I mean, like, everything's delayed right now. Like, the tiling window manager is, like, getting sucked down. It really feels like I've, like, acquired some kind of malware in the last 8 hours. that is just like screwing something up. And it's like honestly what it feels like. But the OBS is at like a much more reasonable CPU level, and that's nice to see. Maybe I can like, it's like really hard to like see myself and OBS at the same time. It's like setting up some windows. And the OBS shortcuts still don't, no, I guess they do work. That's excellent, actually. That's what I like to see. I'm just going to put the OBS up here.
So for some reason, like OBS started like requiring like 5 cores of my processor to stream. So I guess it like couldn't access the GPU or something. Like I unplugged one of the monitors and that seemed to fix it. And then I've been having problems with like Xcode. Just I had to fix a bunch of things, and I tried the beta and that didn't work, and I had to downgrade from the beta, and then I thought that would fix things, and it didn't. Everything seems to be back to normal now, except I'm missing one monitor, which is, I don't know, can't really do anything about it. So it's really just that like I don't know anybody that I can connect with in Roanoke. Like there's no one that I know that. I mean, there's like one guy that I know that does like Ruby on Rails, and there's a few people that do video game programming, but they kind of do their own thing. And there's, I mean, they're cool to hang out with and stuff, but they're kind of doing their own thing. And I don't know if anybody that like that I can really like share what I'm working on with. And so it doesn't like to me it feels like it doesn't even matter what I do. I mean, it does with like live coding. That's the thing. So like I feel like I can like share what I'm doing, and so if I'm working on some kind of obscure thing, like people are interested in that instead of like no one in my life being interested in what I do at all, and just kind of having to like I don't know. It's really frustrating because I do put so much effort into like learning things and learning how to code. But even though I'm not like as good as I'd like to be, but um, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have everything on GitHub mostly, but I don't know. I mean, like literally, like I went to this like hackathon in Blacksburg uh, last weekend, and I had a lot of fun. I worked on a project with some hardware. Uh, I got a Google Cardboard, which is somewhere. Um, and I literally met more people that weekend, like more programmers that weekend, than I had in the entire year previous to that. Well, it wasn't exactly OBS. I don't know. OBS is back to using 5 cores. I tried downloading a new version of OBS. I mean, it was like using like 5.5 cores of processing power to stream. It doesn't make any sense. But that's not like so. First, the problem was Xcode, and basically it was just like some symbols in my file that were actually like syntax errors, and it was just like causing like this weird like infinite loop. And I think some like bad data had been cached somewhere. But once I like made a few clean builds and like restarted my computer a few times, turned it off and on a few times again, it seemed to clear everything up with Xcode, and then I started having problems with OBS. No, I'm not sure what's happening here. I wish I could get back into like a roll. Like since about like 6 or 7 this morning, like this has been the case. Like I've been trying to like I took a break for like 3 hours, but other than that, since like 6 this morning. Well, really since like 12 or 1 last night. I've been working, and I took like a 3 hour break. But then after that 3 hour break at about 1 p.m., I had like 5 hours of lost productivity, and before the break, I had like 2 hours of lost productivity. I mean, I don't know. I've been sort of trying to find a remote job, but so like I'll work on like a project or a startup for a while, and then it's hard for me to get everything together. It's like hard for me to find co-founders and stuff. So I'll like work on that for like 3 months, and then like get frustrated and burn out on it because it's hard for me to find anybody that wants to co-found a company. Um, a lot of that has to do with the fact that I can't really drive. I can sort of drive, but usually only at night, and I'm not really able to network. And so, but then I've sort of been trying to find a job, and every time I try to find a job, it's like I have this like curse following me around or something. And it used to be so easy for me to like find work, and now for some reason it's so hard, and I don't understand. It really just feels like nobody wants to give me a chance. Like I haven't had any income for like 18 months, and I like living at home. I made like $3,000 last year, like last year, the whole year, like 3,000. I'm not really that pissed about it, but at the same time, like it doesn't feel fair because I really am capable of doing this stuff, like web development and like all kinds of stuff. But like I said, sometimes I try to get a job, sometimes I don't. Right now, I'm not really trying, and a lot of it, like I just can't find the right work. Like I'm sure I could get a job in Roanoke working with like .NET, but I don't want to. That's not what I want to work with. I'm sure I could get a job working with like PHP, but I don't want to. I don't want to learn like any like I'm interested in learning like web like languages and math and like data science. But at this point, like I don't want to learn like a new web development framework. Like I'm not really interested in learning. Like I might would learn Django, but I don't like. I already know Ruby on Rails like really well. Like that's what I'm good at. Uh, I don't mind learning like a. I don't mind learning about like React JS. I haven't really spent much time with that. That sounds kind of fun actually, but it's just like some things that like I don't want to do C sharp again. I've done it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do PHP. I've done it. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't really want to. I don't know. I'm too picky with what I want to do. And I would like this is kind of why I'm doing this stuff. Like I want to expand my horizons and like prove that like I can do stuff like this. And so that's why I'm like trying to write my own 3D graphics library. Also, I want to get used to doing stuff with 3D so that I can so that I'll be like ready for like VR and stuff. I am like I don't know. I'm interested in 3D because there's a lot of like interesting programming problems to solve, like a lot of like good uh, performance problems. Yeah. I mean that's true, but I don't know. I mean, I like doing some kinds of web development, but I'm just like I'm not good at the front end, and I probably never will be. And asking me to do front end is basically like asking me to not be good at my job. What do you mean by critical rendering path? Do you mean like loading the script files and getting the page initialized and like doing it as quickly as possible? And does that include like the network load times and like the is that what you mean? Or do you also mean like loading DOM elements after the page has been loaded and like ensuring that you work with like a minimal number of DOM transitions? Okay. See that's how I like think. Like I think in terms of like performance and like how much of an effect like an operation will have uh, on a process, and kind of like regardless of whether or not it's like front end or back end, and kind of always like accounting for those kinds of things. But that's also like why like I tend to take a little bit longer to write code is because I'm thinking about a lot of stuff like that. They're like really serious about that. Right. I mean, I understand how it gets like transformed from I guess like bytes to characters to tokens to nodes, and then I guess the nodes have to be parsed into a tree. And probably the most expensive part is uh, going from characters to tokens and tokens to nodes and nodes to DOMs or nodes to DOM, which is I mean that's three of the steps. Well, the characters to tokens is probably not that much. Yeah, see, CSS is CSS is really complicated because it's like a, a set of like transformations on the nodes, which can be applied in a lot of different ways. And that's kind of like one thing that I've been thinking about, and I talked about at length in one of my videos was that with VR, there's probably going to be something similar to CSS, but for 3D. So it would like so. Let's say you're talking to a friend or something uh, via like video chat, like virtual reality video chat, uh, or you're experiencing some. Let's say you and a friend are both in VR, but it's like augmented reality, and it's uh, overlaying an activity or an experience onto reality or whatever, and and so your friend is like connected remotely, and he's like sitting in front of a coffee table, but you're sitting in front of like a you know like a just like a regular dinner table or just like an empty desk or something like that. But both of you have like a flat surface in front of you. There's going to be something in like VR and AR that's like similar to CSS, but for like transforming like three-dimensional scenes and rendering them in disparate like spaces. So I don't know. You could like create some kind of language that's like similar to CSS to be able to do that. So that like there's already like VR experiences and stuff where people use like identical rooms and people can like experience the same activity even though they're like remotely connected, and it looks exactly the same and it's rendered precisely. Um, and the people experience the same things because they're like connected remotely, and the rooms map up physically like one to one. But what is a lot more useful than that is being able to do that with spaces that are like disparate, with like spaces that are different, and being able to map like the same 3D like AR experience into spaces that are different. Um, and that's very useful because having a space that's set up exactly the same is too much of a constraint, and that's too much of like the same thing, you know. So if you had some kind of like CSS like language that allows you to specify geometry transformations and how something might be rendered in different scenarios, it would be like media queries, but for like three-dimensional activities. Yeah, this is also really important. Like ensuring that some like a web page is loaded as quickly as possible, and I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do. Uh, yeah, and this is also why they moved Angular to like they when they introduced Angular, they wanted the script tags moved to the end of to the end of the HTML, so that the DOM would be loaded, and by the time the DOM was loaded, the JavaScript would begin loading, and then it could like Angular would be loaded as quickly as possible because once your Angular script is loaded, and it would probably like after the user visited the web page once, then the Angular script should be cached. Like the Angular script and like the application scripts and everything like that should be cached on the user's like browser. And so like once the DOM is loaded, then like the Angular script should already be cached, and that's quickly loaded into memory, and then like the JavaScript is parsed, and then that's like at least like a year or two ago, that was the fastest way to get the DOM to load. And you can also do things like use uh, content a C what is it the oh yeah a CDN. If you use a CDN, and if you do things like minify your JavaScript files and ensure that like your application JavaScript file is like minified and consolidated into one file, um, then you can like ensure that your users have a really good experience on your website. And also minify your assets and stuff like your images, so that like because every time the browser has to set up a new connection to like a new web server to download files, and every time browser has to initiate a new web request for like new files and new assets, that like adds a lot of delay. Okay, now I'm having like build problems again. This is great. I must have another issue in the file. I cannot believe this. Yeah, it's stuck on this file. It's some like crap code that I like left in here somewhere. Well, that's not the file. And I cannot believe that this is the only thing that I finished in like 10 hours of work. It's not the file that I meant to open. It's this one. Yeah, I haven't heard much of like React's virtual DOM. I was really hoping that like Polymer would take off and that people would start using web components for like everything. I don't know if React.js. I haven't looked into it enough to know how that meshes with web components. I tried to set up like Polymer with Angular in the middle of like 2014, and it just it was a huge mess. And then Polymer kind of evolved into like Material. And see, like I spent a ton of time like learning all this stuff, and then I didn't use it because I didn't get a job. And then like in Roanoke, like everybody's all about jQuery, and I'm thinking like, oh boy. I mean, jQuery is nice, but I mean, I would just rather. I kind of like Angular because it didn't use jQuery. And then I hate like saying like I tried to like I'm helping to organize like meetups and stuff like that to like uh, start building a community here, but it just seems like everyone wants to use the things that they already use, and no one cares about like being like not being the best, but like no one cares about like bettering themselves for the sake of bettering themselves. Like that's how like I've always like tried to like compete against myself and compete against other people, and in like Denver and Boulder and in like other areas that are like large, and have like large startup communities and have like large like development communities. Like everyone tries to do that. Everyone is like so like hell bent on like being competitive, and I use the word hell bent, but I mean it's not like that cutthroat, but I mean it is a little bit like the competition is pretty stiff, but I feel like everyone is better for that. Like, and I'm not trying to compete against like the other people around me for the sake of like showing that I'm better than them. I'm trying to compete against the other people around me to like use them as like a benchmark for bettering myself and for being like, wow, for being able to say like, wow, like I wish I could be as good as that guy because like I want to better myself. Like I see that he like seems to be able to do things faster or like seems to be more knowledgeable about things, or like I really look up to that guy for how he works or how he interacts with people or whatever. and I kind of use that as like a benchmark to like try and like better myself. And it just seems to be like the developers that I've met, like I don't know, either they're just like more quiet, or I think a lot of it is just that they don't like see anyone that it's just like the development community here is not big enough. And it's like it's frustrating to be limited by something like that. Like that is like really so frustrating to me. And the thing is like it really, like again, I hate to say this, but it's really that the area is just not like it's not large enough to really like have a huge development community. I mean, there's nothing like it's like really nobody's fault. I mean, and there's a lot of people here that are like there's a lot of like really talented employees, or yeah, really talented like developers and employees, and a lot of like remote employees, but there's just like not like the critical mass and stuff to have the development community that I'm looking for. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's another thing that makes it hard for me to find a job is that like I want to work on something that like makes me feel good about what I do, and it makes me feel like I'm like building something of value in the world, and it is in line with my ethics, and it uses like technology that I like, which usually if the previous things that I stated are true, then that is also true. Um, and it's just like I don't know, I'm not like networked in enough. So. And also, I'm like so set on doing like a startup that why is this still building? I'm so set on doing a startup that like one that makes me like a little bit harder, or it kind of makes it so that like I don't know, it makes people uncomfortable with hiring me. Like, would you hire a person if you weren't sure that they were going to be there for 6 months or a year? Probably not. So if somebody tells you like, hey, like I'm working on this really cool startup project, they're gonna be like, yeah, I mean that's really cool, but we're really looking for somebody who's gonna be around for like a year or two, at least. Software projects though are so like short term. Like I don't feel like there's very few jobs that I know of that would last for like 3 years or more. It depends on what kind of company you're working for. Like if you're working for like a defense contractor or something, they're probably going to be big enough to shift you to a different project or something. But they're definitely going to want somebody to be there for like 5 years or more. And if you're working for a larger corporation, they're definitely looking for more long-term employees. But if you're working for a startup, like who knows? And a lot of like smaller businesses, like their need for developers, like their demand for developers uh, and for programmers within the company just like oscillates all the time. Was that when you were working with was that when you were working with graphics programs? Just gonna put on some music real quick. I'm trying to figure out what is causing Xcode to just suck down my CPU. I really need to get a fan. I don't even have a fan. Hmm. I'm like really trying to figure out like where this bug is. Oh, here it is. I found it. It's right here. Do you see it? Right here. This right here. This is what's causing the compiler to never finish. I should probably just this to Apple. This is bad. I don't really know how to do it though. I don't know how to submit a bug report. Uh, I've been totally disillusioned. Putting some big some indicators on this problem here. Gosh. I often wonder if like anyone would ever know what really happened. I don't think. I don't know. Again. I guess I'm going to submit a bug report or something. Really don't feel like doing this. Come on, man. Why is my CPU just like being guzzled right now? Damn. It's pretty harsh. Well, right now I'm submitting a bug report and trying to like connect to the internet. I have no idea what's going on with my computer. It's never even acted like this, and now it's just everything it does when I'm like streaming is just really slow. I wasn't doing this like 3 days ago. 3 days ago is perfectly fine. Now it's just everything I do. I'm gonna check out this project or submit everything that I'm doing here so that I can reference a git hash in the bug report. This is probably the most frustrating thing. Like, it just doesn't build. Oh god. This is driving me crazy. Like, I've never had my computer lag like this. And of course, it's like when I start streaming like fairly regularly, and I start trying to connect with people online, it's like something happens. My video just dropped out. Unless I burn out one of my cores, like, what? This is killing me. Oh my god. What is taking so long? This is the boring process of submitting a bug report. I'm still on the beta version of 10.11. What? That's weird. Yeah, well, I should be done with that. So I just submitted the bug report. Alright. So I guess I'm going to I guess I'm going to just like simply correct the error that was pretty easy to fix. Just kind of irked me. Didn't understand why I ran into that problem. That should have been a major syntax error. Like that just doesn't match. It doesn't match the type of the argument at all. And that thing. Yeah, I mean, it's still doing it. Maybe that wasn't the problem. This is the one that's gonna hang. And it just sits there and hangs. This has been like the biggest disappointment. Really? Like it doesn't catch that. It doesn't catch that this error, like. Oh my god, it's because that self-reference. Oh my god. It's taking way too long. It's an int type. Now we're getting somewhere. I've been dealing with this like since like literally like 8 o'clock in the morning. Besides like a 3 hour break or 4 hour break, and I just can't get the software on my computer to like cooperate. It's probably like I mean it's the most frustrating problem that I've had with Xcode. Uh, and up until like 3 days ago, I had never experienced problems like this. And I think what I actually did was, for some really stupid reason, I had referenced the class itself as its parent class, and I think that was part of it. But still, like, I feel like it should. I think it was like that I had referenced the uh, the class itself as the parent class, and that it could not finish like resolving the class because of a syntax error or something, and then that caused it to like have like go into some like weird infinite loop where it like indexes itself forever. I mean, it's still like taking forever to build. Like this was not happening like 3 days ago, and I don't know why it's building this now. Can I just like get a break? Like I'm really trying to like. Um, all right. Can we finish building already? Is there another one of these problems? Because this is killing me. Oh, look at that! We're building the test files. I'm so excited. It's magical. If only OBS weren't sucking up 60% of my processing. It's like literally sucking 60% of my CPU. Like, look at this. Look at this. I've never seen this number before. 60%. Does that happen to anyone else? Like really? It's hovering at like 50%. Why? It's always been like consistently like 20% before. Like before 12 noon today. It's just always been 60%. And now it's sucking all of the CPU power from my computer. It's stupid. And like half the people just left. Half the people just left the live stream. Like trying to like contain it. Did it run the test? Oh yeah, it did. It's magical. I love it when it does the thing it's supposed to. I love it. It might take like 30 years, but apparently like compiling my source code is a hard problem. And it's not OS X, it's like not Xcode's fault. It's the combination of things happening on my computer right now. It's fucking great. Now I'm so like burnt out from dealing with that. Like, look, I get to deal with it again. I'm gonna like uncomment this code, and it's all gonna go to shit. Probably. Maybe I'll get lucky though, because you never know. Probably not though. Almost got lucky once. Have I ever told you about that? I had this like winning lottery ticket, and I was like, nah, I don't really want it. And they were like, well, wouldn't you like to donate it to charity? And I was like, nah, I'm alright. I don't even need it. They're like, are you sure? It's like really, it's like $2 million. I'm like, no, no thanks. I don't need a winning lottery ticket. Why would I want one of those? Except it was like worse than that because, well, I won't exactly elaborate. What do you mean CG color? I thought that comes with foundation or something. Well, FG color, of course that doesn't exist. What do I have to import to get core graphics? I think it's core graphics. Sometimes it's different. I think metal does it all automatically. Maybe. Maybe I'll get lucky. Probably not, though. Probably not. But maybe. You think if I just like keep holding my crossing my fingers like this, maybe it'll like finish the build? I'll just like keep crossing my fingers. I will never uncross my fingers because it's lucky. Maybe it'll happen. Probably not, though. Oh, shit. I thought metal gave me those things. Gee, you know what would be awesome is if I could click on something and it would take me there, and then I could be like, oh, that's what package I used because there it is. Or if I like remembered it, that would also be good. I know UI kit gives me that. I just can't remember what the. If I could use my computer, but I can't because OBS is just sucking all the fucking processor speed. And I have no idea why. It is like I don't have a GPU right now. Because watch, like as soon as I close Xcode, I bet, well, I don't want to close Xcode right now, but I'm pretty sure that if I close Xcode, what happens is OBS CPU usage goes down. It seemed to be down pretty. It seemed to be like hovering at like 20%, and then I opened up Xcode. Which is killing me. Core graphics, CG metal, or CG color. I mean, I could do this in other files earlier today. Because that's how I figured out what the overload was. Please take me to this file. For the love of God. For the love of God and everything holy. Please. love of God, I just want to know one simple thing. It says import core graphics, but I tried that and it's not available. It says there's no such thing as core graphics. That's impossible. Oh my god. What is wrong with my computer? I'm so mad right now. I'm like barely containing it. Oh yeah, I'm basically practicing some graphics and stuff. Um, and I'm trying to write like a library for graphics using Metal. And I'm just running into a lot of problems that are just really, really hurt me. I thought I could do that. Yeah, well, I mean, my computer was doing it absolutely fine before 12 p.m. today. And after about that time, OBS decided it wanted to start using about 60% of my CPU. And balancing that with, like, I've tried unplugging a monitor. I'm only running with one external monitor now. And between that and between OBS and Xcode, I mean, my CPU is just like pegged at like 100%. I mean, you can look at it, like, it is just straight up 100%. Because whatever this SourceKit service is pegging everything. And this only started happening at like 12 o'clock. And like, I'm the kind of person when I run into a problem like this or like other things, I don't really give up. Like, I don't like roadblocks will get in my way, and I just don't care how much it slows me down. So I kind of wish I could upgrade, but I don't really need to upgrade. I do need a new fan though, because the fan I got is just like completely broken. It's not cooling. It's not cooling my computer at all. It's totally not cooling my fan. I mean, cooling my processor. My computer is going so slow that the activity monitor has stalled out. Like, look at this thing. It's not moving at all. I'm not using, like, I'm not memory bound. And look at this. It's just like sucking down like power. I can't wait till I like try to like go to a coffee shop and try to do this. I don't understand. I've tried everything. Doesn't make any sense. It still has not resolved that. Like, okay, I'm just gonna I gotta close Xcode and open it back up. I don't know what else to do. Open it back up. So here we go. Here we go again. Oh yeah, they just launched an Android app. I don't have Android anymore though. It's oh my god. Well, that didn't help at all. Can I make it just stop indexing things? This is ridiculous. This is probably the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in my life. In my life. I thought CG, like, come on, I can't. Alright, okay. Okay, Xcode, you win. I'm gonna comment that code out. So we can, like, just stop this ridiculousness. It's crazy. I've never had as many problems as I've had in the past, like, 48 hours. It's absolutely horrible. Oh, look at how fast that was. Look, watch that. It's so fast. And look, it's done. Look at that. It finished. It stopped doing anything. Look at this. Look, look. It's not using 100% of the CPU. It's pretty amazing, I'd say. Watch this. It's going to stop testing. It failed the test. That's fine, though. It's indexing. It should eventually stop indexing because that process should end. That's just how, that stuff is. Like, what is an index if it's not complete? Like, you wouldn't buy like an encyclopedia if they'd never finished the index. I don't think anyone would buy an encyclopedia anyways. I'm just kind of hoping that this progress bar will get to the end. That's what I've been doing all day, is like watching this thing like never finish. And I'm kind of mad about it. There's one thing I don't like doing, it's like wasting my time. And like, I don't understand, like, look at how few, like, I don't have any applications open really. And like 24 hours ago, I had, like 30 tabs open in Google Chrome. I had like 3 different browsers open. I had a bunch of processes running. And OBS was only requiring like 20%. I guess I'm just like sitting here complaining about it. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to address the problem. I'm just really hoping that the 100% CPU usage for no reason will just go down eventually. But I don't think it's going to. Oh, look at that. Oh. I'm getting so pissed off right now. Like, it's running so slow that the activity monitor can't keep up. It says downscale my output resolution. I mean, I've already done that. Lower my frame rate. I really don't want to do that. Change the the X264 preset. I'm pretty sure I did that.